In the grand circus that motorsports often resemble, the J2iCS Round 12 at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve turned out to be less of a ballet and more akin to a particularly aggressive round of musical chairs, with the soundtrack provided by screeching tyres and engines bellowing in distress. It was a race where ambition met gravity, dreams flirted with disaster, and the laws of physics were treated more like mild suggestions than immutable laws. At the heart of this vehicular maelstrom was William Hamsfar Jr., who, in a display of skill, luck, and sheer bloody-mindedness, managed to cross the line in P1. A victory, no doubt, but one suspects the car crossed the finish line more out of sheer inertia than any mechanical capability left in it. His achievement was akin to being the last man standing in a particularly rowdy bullfight, battered, bruised, but undeniably victorious. Then there's Eric C. Fox, finishing in P2, who throughout the race oscillated positions more times than a politician's stance on any given issue. One could argue that his strategy was to confuse competitors to the point of exhaustion. A bold strategy indeed, and judging by his podium finish, not entirely ineffective. Our P3 finisher, Martin Wallace, deserves a mention not least for surviving the event, but for maintaining a semblance of consistency in a race that resembled a toddler's first attempt at drawing a straight line. His podium place was well earned, achieved through the time-honoured tradition of not crashing as much as everyone else. Special commendations must go to Hayden Fowler, who managed to finish in P4 despite encountering more trouble than a board game evening in a dysfunctional family household. The number of times Hayden visited the pits, one might assume he was attempting to qualify for a loyalty card. Now for the less fortunate souls. Jaden Manothan Garin, who had shown promise, found himself embroiled in what can only be described as a symphony of despair, finishing in P6. His race car, by the end, was presumably offering about as much structural integrity as a chocolate teapot. And Lucas Wallace, finishing in P8 after a series of misadventures so mishap-ridden, one would think he was auditioning for a role in a slapstick comedy. His car, we imagine, rolled across the line less like a finely tuned racing machine and more like a shopping trolley with a wonky wheel. Let us not forget our friends Jaden Hopp, Jonah Allen and Ryan Schwab, who have turned pit stops into an art form, albeit one that closely resembles abstract expressionism rather than any coherent strategy. In conclusion, Round 12 was less a race and more an exercise in automotive survivalism. The winners, bruised but unbroken. The losers, likely pondering the laws of karma and the capricious nature of racing fortune. But let's remember, in the end, it's not just the winning that counts, but the taking part. A sentiment that undoubtedly provides immense comfort to whose cars decided to impersonate modern art installations rather than competent race vehicles. Until the next race, may your engines run smoothly and your luck run smoother.